Yo guys, it's your boy Highway Hit Squad, and we're back again with another, I suppose it's like a general football chat type of video. We made one of these yesterday, and it done relatively well considering. It's a bit different to the FM videos, well, a lot different to the FM videos. I'm not playing FM, but yeah, we should be talking about England post the game against Germany, which we won. Be talking about that game a bit more, and then the next upcoming games we've got the quarterfinals and the semi-finals and the finals, if England are lucky enough to get there. So let's start off with the result yesterday: England 2, Germany 0. What a result! What a result! A really big result for the lads. You could tell the Wembley fans there were completely behind them. But at the end of the day, they're English fans, so when they're seeing stuff they're not going to like, they are going to let you know about it. And we saw that a bit early on when I think Germany had the ball and it was quite passive, very side to side, not much pressing going on. And we heard some booing. We heard some booing for sure. But who scored the first goal? Raheem Sterling scored the first goal, and then again scoring again, and Harry Kane scored. And I was very critical of him in my last video, last YouTube football chat video, and rightfully so. I don't think Harry Kane actually had a very good game at all. I thought he was quite poor. And there was a quote that Karim Benzema said that nowadays strikers can play terribly and then score a goal, and that's classed as a good game. Nowadays, when it shouldn't be, it really shouldn't be. Harry Kane didn't have a good game, but he scored. Does that goal mean he had a good game? To some fans, it might do. Not to me, it doesn't. Personally, I don't think he had a good game. But he made it 2-0. Didn't score the winning goal, but he made it 2-0 and really killed off the game. And we managed to go through. Defensively, we were quite solid. Germany only really had a couple of half chances. Pickford again played brilliantly, made some great saves, and he's really built on that experience that he gained in the 2018 World Cup, and you have to give Southgate credit for that. When he took Pickford in 2018, there was other options. There was. Joe Hart would have been the easy option. He's experienced, even though his club form was absolutely shocking, but he's the most experienced. He's the most experienced keeper we would have had at the time. Jack Butland also went as well, even though he was in the Championship at the time, which was a bit funny for him to be taken, even though he wasn't even in the Premier League. But he was taken, and he played in the third place game that we lost. But yeah, Southgate picking Pickford and sticking with him, to me, it's a show of faith, and Pickford's repaid it and has continued to be repaying that faith. They had one clear-cut chance, Germany did, when Müller went through after Raheem Sterling's lapse of judgment and passed it into no man's land, where you can't really go to it. You can't commit, because if you commit, you're taken out of the game. But you can't not go for it because you want to apply that pressure. So yeah, no man's land there. And Müller went through. He went through and he just sent it wide of the post. If that was a few inches inwards, then it's 1-1. And the momentum for Germany builds, and maybe they get another one and we're out. But he missed. By the grace of God, he missed. And Thomas Müller's been sent home. Good player, but stick to the yogurts. That being said, though, Müller was talking a big game before the other game. He was talking a big game, saying how the players are talking themselves into self-confidence and they don't really have confidence and all that. Well, look at him now. He's going to go back to Germany. He's about 40, so he'll probably retire soon. Tail between his legs. Joachim Low doing weird Joachim Low things. He's a weird guy. 15 years manager, very commendable though. Managers could only wish to be in charge for that long nowadays. Southgate would. It would be a miracle if Southgate was able to stay in charge for 15 years. But Joachim Löw done it. He got the World Cup, and now it's time for him to say his swan song. He's done as Germany manager. That was his last game. I believe that was his last game. This was his last tournament, so I'd imagine this was his last game as also. I don't know what's next for him. I don't know if he would retire from management. I mean, where would you really go from now? Because when you've been managing at that club at Germany for so long, can you really go back to club management? Do you just call it a day as a manager overall? It'd be interesting to see. I don't know if he made a statement saying he will be retiring after this also, and I don't know, but it's very possible. But yeah, back to England. I think man for man played pretty well, considering Pickford in goal was brilliant. I'd give him another clean sheet. He still hasn't not conceded a single goal in the Euros. That's a 10 out of 10 for me. And considering the attacking quality that Germany have, Thomas Muller, Kai Havertz, Timo Werner. Sure, Timo Werner's not clinical, but in terms of being a striker, he does all the right things. He makes good runs, intelligent runs, good timing of runs, contributes, he's quick also. He does a lot more than Kane does, but Kane scores goals, and that's what really matters at the end of the day, ultimately. That's what really matters. Who else do we have? Yeah, Pickford the 10 out of 10. Luke Shaw got the assist for the first goal. Yeah, Luke Shaw got the assist for the first goal. Played alright. Got up and down pretty well. Overall, I'm gonna say he done quite well as well. I'll give him an 8. Give Luke Shaw an 8. And at centre back we had Maguire, Stones, and Walker. And that's probably, like I said about Maguire and Stones, like Maguire and Stones and Walker, that's probably the best back three we have when everyone's fit. Maguire didn't do brilliantly, he wasn't amazing, a bit suspect at times. But that being said, Kyle Walker and John Stones held it down. They held it down. They were good. Stones and Walker quite fast on the ball, as they are. They're fairly fast players. Walker is particularly fast and was able to do a lot of the sweeping up behind the back line if anything leaked through. Then the right wing back, who did we have? We have Kieran Trippier. Yeah, was decent, was fairly quiet. I think most of our play was definitely focused down the left. But did not say he had a bad game. Obviously, if we had lost and he'd put in that performance, a lot more flack would have been sent his way, because he would have been regarded as quite passive because he wasn't that involved in the game. But we won, so he won't get that much flack. So I give him a 7. Who do we have in the midfield? We had Calvin Phillips and Rice, Declan Rice. Again, they did all right considering. I think at times they got outplayed, which easily happens. Easily happens when you're playing as a 2 against a midfield 3. I think. Well, Germany weren't really necessarily playing. Well, they were playing a midfield 3 because they had Havertz there as well that would drop in to make that midfield 3, and he played brilliantly, Havertz. Defensively, for England, Havertz was a nightmare because he's so dynamic. He found so many different spaces, and he's a quality player. Make no mistake about it. He can have bad games for Chelsea all he wants. He's a quality player, and we saw in the Champions League final where he scored the winning goal. That 90 million price tag was worth it. Well, that alone probably makes it worth it for Chelsea, especially. But played really good against England here. But Declan Rice defensively was decent. On the ball wasn't brilliant. Some misplaced pass, trying to overplay it a bit, losing the ball. Same really, not a bit with Calvin Phillips as well. Better on the ball than Rice, but they both got yellow cards, which was something to look out for a bit, Something a bit to look out for. They both got yellow cards. Then up front we had Sterling, Kane and Saka. Saka was really nice. He was really nice. Got the ball, made challenges, was trying to take players on, drove forward. Impressed a lot of people and showed a lot of people what us Arsenal fans are seeing week in and week out. Really done a good job there. Sterling as well, brilliant performance by Sterling. Moving about, making the brilliant runs that he does. His movement is 10 out of 10. It's A-star. His movement is A plus to A star. You know, in terms of movement, I don't know if there's not many better players. There's not many players better than Raheem Sterling in terms of making runs off the ball. You know, even in the build-up, he took a shot from outside the box, and that was on target. You know, that he doesn't often do that, but normally most of his goals are tap-ins, look like the one he got in the end. But that was a good shot. And I was saying in the other video, he's pretty useless in the build-up. He loses the ball a lot, but even today in the build-up, he was fairly solid. You know, he wasn't losing the ball too often. He was making things happen. Kane, like I said before, didn't play well. Didn't have a good game, but got the goal, which is ultimately all that matters. Because I think we would all take a striker that doesn't play well, in inverting commas, but gets goals. We would rather have a striker that doesn't play well and gets goals than a striker that plays well and doesn't get goals. In other words, we'd rather have Kane than Werner. I don't think that's a controversial statement particularly. But Kane got his first goal of the Euros. I've got a bet on that we need Immobile, Benzema and Kane to get 2 goals in the Euros. Benzema and Immobile have smashed that. Benzema's out of the tournament. He's already smashed that. And Kane's got his first goal, so could be on track to win that bet and make myself a nice chunk of change. But yeah, Kane got his first goal of the Euros. Raheem Sterling got his 3rd goal of the Euros. And then we move on to the next round, really. Who do England have in the next round? We've got Ukraine. Yeah, Ukraine. Ukraine's team's alright. You know, they've got a couple of nice players. Zinchenko. Other players as well. There's other players there as well that off the top of my head I don't know, but they're good. They're a solid team. I mean, obviously they're a solid team because they got this far into the tournament. You don't get this far in if you're not a solid team, and you don't have a if you're able to get this far in, you're good at certain things, at least. If you're not a good team, you're dangerous from certain places. Maybe that's on a counter attack. Maybe that's from set pieces. Maybe you're good defensively. There's something there because you don't get through to this far in a quality tournament like this without having something about you. So it won't be a pushover. Ukraine definitely won't roll over for us. I think a few years back they actually beat England. I mean, I say a few years back, it's probably about a decade ago. But I remember a memory in my head, it probably was like a friendly or something, where Ukraine beat England. Maybe that was Sweden. Obviously, Ukraine have got their legend, Andrei Shevchenko as manager, which I love. I thought Shevchenko was a brilliant player. I remember when he signed for Chelsea. He was a flop for Chelsea, don't make no mistake about it. But obviously, when he went to Chelsea, he was a hype train. You know, people were really excited to get a quality striker in the Premier League, another one. And obviously, it didn't turn out that way. But we were excited nonetheless for him to see what he could do at Chelsea. But it should be a very good match. You know, I'm expecting to see Sterling play again. I'm expecting to see Calvin Phillips play, Stones, Pickford. And these players have played really well. They don't deserve to be dropped. Stones, Walker played really well. Pickford brilliantly. I mean, Pickford won't get dropped. You know, Pickford's been brilliant. Southgate would be crazy to drop Pickford now because who do we even have? I don't even know who our backup keeper is. Is it Dean Henderson? Did he take Dean Henderson? Whoever. I expect Kane, unfortunately, will probably start now because he's got his first goal, which is what they were waiting for. But he shouldn't really, if it's my opinion. I don't care if he scored a goal. I don't care. I still don't think he should really be starting, but he will be. I mean, let's talk about Kane for a bit, you know. During the game when we're watching it, at half time they have the pundits come on and do a bit of analysis, a bit of short 5-minute analysis, and they're talking about Kane, and they're not saying what I'm saying because they're all buddy. They can't say what I'm gonna say because they're all filtered. I'm unfiltered. But Kane was a statue in that first half. Kane's not fast at all. He's not. So if you're not a fast striker, you need to be aerially dominant. You need to have something about you physically. Off the top of my head, I don't think he won a single aerial duel. I could be wrong. I maybe he won 1 or 2. But off the top of my head, He didn't win a single one. So, if you're not fast, and aerially you're not doing anything, and you're not moving about, and you haven't scored a goal yet, what are you doing on the pitch? That begs a bigger question for Southgate also. Why is he still playing him? Yes, eventually he did get that goal, but he didn't know that. What if Kane didn't get that goal and he just went through the game playing how he played? Terrible performance, in my opinion. Anyway, terrible performance. And you didn't even have Calvert-Lewin on the bench. You didn't even have Calvert-Lewin on the bench. You had fake stats Rashford. Marcus, fake stats Rashford was on the bench. Do me a favour. Do me a favour. Grealish came off the bench and played really well, as he always does. You know, Grealish is absolutely world class. You know, he's what... If England are going to do anything in this Euros, players like Grealish is what is going to do it for us. Players are dynamic. You know, nowadays, everyone is so well drilled. Everyone is so methodic, so educated in their build-up. When you've got dynamic players that are able to drop a shoulder and take a player or two out of the game, that's what wins you trophies. That is what will win you trophies. Players like Grealish, Foden, Saka, Sancho, Bellingham, these sorts of players are the players that will win us the Euros. Bellingham hasn't played much. Sancho hasn't played at all, I don't believe. That's crazy. That is absolutely insane. And I know some of the pundits, the German pundits that were on the panel, were saying that as well. They're saying they can't believe that Sancho hasn't even played. He hasn't even played. Obviously, they think he should be starting. But worst case scenario, if he's not starting, he should at least be playing. You know, at least. But maybe he'll get some game time in this next game, hopefully. Him and Bellingham. I mean, Bellingham I'm such a fan of. He's brilliant. He's absolutely brilliant. And Sancho too. Don't get twisted, Sancho too. But I do want to see Calvert-Lewin play. I don't think he will though, unfortunately. Now that Kane's got his first goal, Southgate probably feels more vindicated in his selection and his persistence with him. He shouldn't be though. But he will be. And the game's on Saturday. I'm looking forward to it. I'm hoping England can do the number on them. I'm sure they can. I'm sure they can beat Ukraine. Of course they can. Ukraine went into extra time with Sweden and they scored right at the end of added extra time. So they should be knackered. Honestly, they should be absolutely knackered. And I'm hoping that will affect their recovery and affect their intensity come Saturday. Because England haven't had to play in extra time once yet. Hasn't gone to penalties. We've done the 90 minutes and then got out of there. So hopefully that will have an effect on Ukraine rather. But anyway, thanks for listening, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. You guys really enjoyed the last video, so I'm hoping you'll enjoy this one as well. If you've liked it, make sure to leave a like, leave a comment, share with your friends, and subscribe. It's been your boy Highbury Hit Squad. And peace and love, and I'm out. Take care, guys. See ya.